Hello, scholars. This is Miss Yabut. Over the past couple days, we've been learning about the theme. Can you remind me, what is theme? Yes, the theme is the... Wow, if you knew that without me saying it, show me a high five. Great job, scholars. Today, we are going to think about the themes for both a new school and the bus experience, and compare these texts. Scholars, you saved your STORY planners that you've been working on so hard so that today we can see how are they similar and how are they different. Scholars, before we begin, make sure that you have your 2 planners and a pencil. Also make sure that you have a blank piece of paper because today we are going to, drumroll please, work on some multiple choice questions in our first quiz. Can you say, so cool? Yes! So scholars, make sure you have your blank paper ready for our PO codes. Also make sure that you are in a quiet place. No TV or video games. Making sure your brothers and sisters are quiet. If you need time to go to a quiet place and make sure we have our papers, pause your video and do that now. Great! Scholars, today we will be looking at both texts. Remember, our work is where it says your work. Scholars, because we already read these texts, we won't have to highlight or annotate the texts today. Scholars, remember from class that whenever I see passage 1 and passage 2, I can make a pretty good prediction that the questions are going to ask me to compare and contrast them. I need to think, what is the same in these 2 stories and what is different? To do that, I needed to make 2 STORY planners, one for passage 1 and one for passage 2. Scholars, great news. We already did that. Let's double check. Passage 1 was a new school, so I'm going to write passage 1 for this planner. And passage 2, which we did yesterday, was a bus experience. Great, scholars. Now, good readers compare and contrast 2 texts by thinking about the parts of STORY. Scholars, we already read and annotated these texts, so as a good reader, I can use my planners to help me compare and contrast in an efficient way. First, let's look at the settings. In passage 1, it was in a new neighborhood, Lucy's neighborhood. And in passage 2, the setting was on a bus. Are these two settings similar or different? Can you show me? Yes, if you showed me different, give me a pounded. Yes, scholars, these two settings are different. Let's continue reading. In passage 1, the characters were Lucy and Mom, but in passage 2, the characters were Sam and Ted. What do we think? Similar or different? Yes, scholars, these characters are different. I did not see a mom in my passage 2 because it was two friends who were talking. I do notice one small similarity that in passage 1, Mom was supportive, and in passage 2, Sam was helpful. I remember that both characters gave advice. Scholars, let's look at our problem, the O. In passage 1, Lucy wanted friends, but she's at a new school she's never been to. In passage 2, Sam wants to try riding a bus, but he's never ridden one before. What do we think? Are these problems similar or different? Scholars, if you showed me similar, show me a yes. When I look at these two problems, I notice that they both have to do with doing something new. Lucy is at a new school, and Ted has never tried riding on a bus before. They are both trying something new. So, scholars, when I'm comparing two texts, I always want to draw a star next to each box that the stories are similar. In this case, the problems are similar. The problems are great. Scholars, so far, were the setting or characters that similar? No, we don't need a star there. Let's keep comparing. In passage 1, Lucy took her mom's advice to be herself. In passage 2, Ted took his friend's advice to be himself. In passage 2, Ted took his friend's advice. In passage 2, Ted took his friend's advice to try riding the bus. What do you think? Are these similar or the same or different? Scholars, you have about 30 seconds to, if you think they're similar, draw a star. If not, show me a thumbs down. Get ready, go. Took mom's advice, took his friend's advice. 15 more seconds. Great job, scholars. If you put a star star next to the attempts to resolve, show me a yes. Right. In both passages, the main character, Lucy, in passage 1, and Ted, in passage 2, took someone's advice to try something new. Lucy tried being herself at her new school, and Ted tried riding a bus. Now, let's look at our theme. In the end, Lucy did make friends. At the end, Ted enjoyed riding the bus. My lesson learned for passage 1 was that Lucy learned taking advice to be herself at her new school worked. In passage 2, Ted learned taking advice to try something new, like riding a bus, worked. Scholars, what do we think about the lesson that the characters learned in our Y box? Are these the same or different? Scholars, you have about 30 seconds to again think and draw a star if they are similar, or sitting in star if you're... Scholars, you have about 30 seconds. Are they similar? Draw a star, or different? Get ready, go. Hmm. 5 more seconds, scholars. Whoa, great job. Scholars, let's see. When I look at how Lucy took her mom's advice and Ted took his friend's advice, I realized they both learned these new experiences were good. So I thought these were similar. Scholars, if you thought so too, go ahead and kiss your brain for doing such hard work. Scholars, as I look back on my STORY planners, can you tell me what parts of STORY were similar? Yes! The problem, attempts to resolve, and solution were similar. High fives, scholars! Great job! Scholars, now that I see that these are similar, remember that we still need to think about a common theme. Scholars, as we're thinking about theme, remember that we need to think about 1, what was the problem? 2, and did the main character change? And 3, what lesson did the characters learn? Scholars, remember, the problem was that the characters have not experienced these experiences before, going to a new school or riding the bus. Their attempts to resolve was that they would take advice and try it anyway. And our solution was that they ended up finding it a good thing. Scholars, for your assignment today, you will be writing what each story had in common. We just said that the problem, attempts to resolve, and solution were similar. So I'm going to write in my O, R, and Y boxes how they were similar. I don't need to write anything in my S or T box because they were not similar. Okay, so in my problem, I noticed that in both stories, they were experiencing something new. I'm going to start with both blank, or both characters experience something new. Scholars, as I'm filling out my planners, I'm only going to write 2 to 7 words. Remember, typing is a little tricky, so if you need a sibling or a parent to help you, that is okay. So both characters experience something new. Both characters took advice. And tried it. Now we need to think about a common theme. If I go back to classwork, under classwork and resources is a resource called Common Themes. You might remember this from our classrooms. I can use this list of common themes to help me. I need to think about, which theme matches what I talked about in terms of, if we try new things, good things might happen. Or taking risks and trying new things can be enjoyable. I can use this resource to help me complete my Y box. Say easy peasy. Great. Scholars, now we're going to work on our multiple choice questions. Say so cool. These are going to be the same questions in your quiz, but we'll show some of our annotating in our document. Okay. Scholars, let's look at number 1. Part A. Scholars, as a good reader, remember when I see a Part A, Part B question, I need to really pay attention to my answer in Part A and think what answer in Part B proves it. First, let's get our scrap paper ready. So I see number 1, Part A, and there's 4 answer choices. So I'm going to write number 1, Part A, and my 4 choices, A, B, C, and D. Scholars, as a good reader, I also know that whenever I see multiple choice questions, I need to use my PO codes. I need to use my yes. Scholars, in the classroom, we can use the PO code resource located under resources to help us remember what our PO codes are. Remember that NT stands for not true. No evidence means I didn't see anything that said that in the text. Not relevant means you're answering a different question. O means the opposite. Too general means that you don't have enough detail. Too specific means you have too much detail. Let's go back to our questions. What conclusion can be made about a theme of both a new school and the bus experience? First, I annotate the key words. I notice that it says theme, and we're talking about both passages, passage 1 and passage 2. Scholars, this question is asking about a theme. What box in my STORY planners will I be looking for a theme? If you said the Y box, scholars, give me 8-pound it. Whoa, great job. Yes, let's look at our Y boxes. In passage 1, Lucy learned that taking advice to be herself worked. And if she tried something new like that, good things could happen. In passage 2, Ted learned that taking advice to try something new, like going on the bus, worked. And sometimes taking a risk in doing something new can be enjoyable. So now, I need to think if these answer choices match my Y box. I'm going to write the letter Y next to my question and in my POCode scrap paper to remind me I'm looking at the Y box. So, in A, new experiences can be great if you have an open mind. What do we think? Yeah, scholars, I agree. It sounds like in part A, it's talking about new experiences and how they can be positive if we try something. In Lucy's case, being herself, and for Ted, just trying something new, even though he's never done it before. Since I think that might be the right answer, let's put a check. But we still need to check the rest of our answers. B, you should be nervous around strangers until you get to know them. Scrolling up just to make sure in our texts, I know that it did say that Lucy was a little nervous to go to her new school, but it didn't really say a lot about strangers, especially because she made friends right away. Looking at passage 2, I noticed that it says Ted wasn't used to being around strangers, but not really about how he should be nervous around them until he gets to know them. Scholars, I didn't really see a lot of evidence for either of these answer choices in part B, so I'm going to write an X and then NE for no evidence. It didn't really talk about in either text how Lucy should be nervous or Ted should be nervous. Letter C. Always listen to what your mother says. Ooh, scholars, well, Using or taking her mother's advice worked in passage 1. But did we hear about Ted's mother in passage 2? Say no way. Scholars, this answer is not relevant for passage 2. We didn't hear anything about Ted's mom. Andy, you'll get along with people you have things in common with. So scholars, I noticed that this was true for passage 2. We know that Ted had a lot in common with the old woman and the man that he met on the bus. But in passage 1, I know that Lucy started making friends, but it didn't really talk about how she had things in common with them. Remember, Lucy was working on being herself. I think that this answer choice is also not relevant, but for passage 1. Scholars, now that I double-checked all my answer choices, I still think that part A is correct. We always double-check our work. And let's go ahead and make sure we also highlight our inference. For part A, B questions, we highlight our inference. We highlight our yes. For part B, good readers always ask ourselves, does this prove my inference that new experiences can be great if you have an open mind? Does this prove my inference that new experiences can be great if you have an open mind? Let's read. Part B. Which piece of evidence best supports your conclusion to part A? A. Lucy's mother said, if you just be yourself, everyone will see how wonderful and fun you are, and you will make a lot of friends. This piece of evidence is about Lucy's mother. In A, my inference was new experiences can be great if you have an open mind. I know that Lucy's mother is giving Lucy advice, but Lucy's mother isn't really having an open mind. She's trying to convince Lucy to have an open mind. I also notice that this answer choice doesn't really talk about new experiences. So whenever for part B, I see a piece of evidence that does not support my inference, I'm going to write not relevant. Good. Let's read part B. Sam said, the best thing about riding a bus is that you are not driving. Again, I notice that this piece of evidence is talking about Sam. Was Sam having a new experience that was great if you had an open mind? No, this piece of evidence is not relevant. Great, scholars. Part C. Ted decided to try and ride a bus. He wanted to know what it would be like. Does this prove my inference that new experiences can be great if you have an open mind? Yes, this evidence is talking about Ted, and he is trying a new experience, riding a bus. He did have an open mind. He wanted to know what it was like, even though he's never tried it before. Let's annotate letter C with a check. But we still need to check part D. Ted was not used to being with strangers. Is this the best piece of evidence that proves that new experiences can be great if you have an open mind? No, this is not the best piece of evidence, so this is not relevant. And it looks like after I double checked, the correct answer is C. Scholars, remember, I always circle my answer choices as well. Scholars, while you be showing your highlighting and annotating on this page, you can write your answers and record them in our quiz. So remember, we found that the answers were A and C. So I would write those there. Scholars, today for your assignments, you will be completing 1, our ORY maps by making sure writing what each story had in common. Then you'll be working on your exit ticket. What conclusion can be made about a theme of both passages? Remember that we can go back to our classwork, resources, and common themes to help us with the Y box and our RAC response. Last, we'll work on our questions, working on also numbers 2 and 3, and recording these answers in our quiz. Once we're finished with all those pieces and have turned each part in, then we'll click Turn In. Whoa, scholars, that was a lot of work, but I am so impressed at your self-determination in working on our very first quiz today. Show me a whew. I can't wait to see your POCOs and your hard work today when we review. Till next time, scholars, have a great day.